You are the calm one, the rational one, the one who understands. When voices rise, yours lowers. When tension thickens, you soften. You translate emotions like a diplomat in a war zone, carefully choosing words so no one explodes. People call you mature, self-aware, safe. But no one asks who holds you. In every relationship, there is emotional labor. The invisible work of regulating feelings, resolving conflict, anticipating reactions. Over time, that labor becomes asymmetrical. You carry more of it, not because you were assigned to, because you're capable. And capability becomes responsibility. According to attachment theory, anxious avoidant pairings are magnetically efficient. One person fears abandonment, the other fears engulfment. One pursues, the other withdraws. Stability emerges, not from health, but from complementary wounds. You often become the stabilizer. If they pull away, you give space. If they panic, you reassure. If they lash out, you contextualize. They're stressed. They didn't mean it. They just need time. You understand their childhood, their triggers, their coping patterns. You understand everything, except why you are always the one adjusting. At first, your patience feels noble. You believe love is endurance. You believe depth means tolerance. You believe emotional intelligence means absorbing impact without retaliation. And in the beginning, it's appreciated. But hedonic adaptation is ruthless. What once felt extraordinary becomes normal. What was once praised becomes expected. Your calm stops being impressive. It becomes baseline. The nervous system adapts quickly to comfort. When you consistently regulate the emotional climate, others stop learning how to regulate themselves. Why would they? The system already works. So they stay reactive. You stay composed. They stay impulsive. You stay reflective. The imbalance doesn't explode, it crystallizes. Imagine this. Your partner forgets something important, again. Instead of confronting them sharply, you breathe. You say, I know you've had a lot on your mind. You minimize your disappointment because you understand executive dysfunction. You understand stress responses. You even understand their guilt. But you don't let yourself feel your anger fully, because anger would disrupt the harmony you maintain. Slowly, you become less a partner and more a regulator. There is a hidden reward in this role. It gives you identity. Being the understanding one makes you indispensable, needed, morally superior even. If they are chaotic, you are centered. If they are lost, you are wise. It feels powerful, but it is a fragile power, because it depends on their dysfunction remaining intact. If they healed completely, who would you be? This is the shadow few people admit. Sometimes you overfunction so the relationship doesn't collapse, and sometimes you overfunction because collapse would force you to confront your own unmet needs. Being the emotional adult protects you from vulnerability. You are busy analyzing theirs. You tell yourself you're just patient. But patience without reciprocity becomes quiet self-erasure. And here is the rule card. If you are always the stable one, the relationship is balanced around your silence. You think you are keeping the peace, but peace built on one person's constant restraint is not peace. It is containment. The question is not whether you are strong enough to keep understanding. The question is what it costs you to keep doing it. Because understanding can slowly become something else. Something that looks like love, but feels like disappearing. And that is where the real danger begins. You tell yourself you're just empathetic. But empathy, stretched too far, becomes endurance. You pride yourself on seeing nuance, on holding complexity, on not reacting impulsively. So when they cancel last minute, you understand. When they go cold for days, you rationalize. When they snap at you, you contextualize. You call it emotional intelligence. But slowly, something shifts. In psychology, boundaries are not walls. They are definitions. They define where you end and someone else begins. When you are always the understanding one, those definitions blur. You absorb impact instead of reflecting it back. The first time they overstep, you explain gently. The second time, you soften. The third time, you adapt. This is boundary erosion. Not dramatic, not explosive, gradual. And your nervous system learns a dangerous lesson. Discomfort is safer than confrontation. There's another mechanism at play: intermittent reinforcement. They are inconsistent, sometimes warm, sometimes distant, sometimes deeply grateful for your patience, sometimes indifferent. The unpredictability strengthens your attachment. Variable reward schedules, the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive, create powerful emotional bonds. You never know when the affection will spike again, so you stay invested. You wait for the version of them that feels connected, and when it appears, it feels earned. This is how trauma bonds form, not through constant pain, but through cycles of rupture and reward. You become hyper-attuned. You analyze tone shifts, pauses in text messages, micro-expressions. You tell yourself you're just perceptive, but you are adapting to instability. Imagine this. They withdraw after an argument. Instead of demanding repair, you give space. You send a careful message. I don't want to pressure you. I'm here when you're ready. Hours pass, maybe days. You feel the anxiety rising in your chest, but you don't express it. You don't want to seem needy.
When they finally return with warmth, relief floods you. Dopamine, safety, connection. The absence made the return intoxicating. That's not depth, that's neurochemistry. The more you invest, the harder it becomes to admit something is wrong. This is cognitive dissonance. If you're giving this much, patience, energy, emotional regulation, then the relationship must be meaningful. Otherwise, what are you doing? So you double down. You read more about attachment styles. You communicate more carefully. You refine your tone. You optimize yourself. Notice the direction of effort. You move toward them. They stay where they are. Slowly, you shift from being chosen to being convenient. Convenient because you don't explode. Convenient because you don't demand. Convenient because you translate their behavior into something forgivable. They don't have to grow. You've made growth optional. And here is the rule card. Empathy without boundaries turns you into a refuge, not a partner. A refuge is safe, predictable, absorbing, but it is not equal. The tragedy is subtle. You are not unloved, you are relied on, and those are not the same thing. You think your understanding makes you irreplaceable, but in unstable dynamics, the understanding one is often the most replaceable, because their role is functional, not relational. If someone else can absorb the chaos, the system continues. The deeper question is not why they behave this way. The deeper question is why you tolerate a love that requires you to disappear in increments. Because the final stage of being the understanding one is not resentment, it is exhaustion, and exhaustion changes you. In the next chapter, we confront the moment when you stop feeling noble and start feeling empty.